Hello and welcome to episode 57 of the first person career mode. Today's episode we will be off to Sachsenring, and after a victory in the last one we will be looking to have a solid race weekend and keep tabs on Fabio Quartararo in Germany. But first up, we do have some team development for the Moto3. We're going to do frame update course. The frame update course helps the team collect clearer data on track and also improves the communication with the constructor of the bike. So we're going to buy that and we should have it in the next 4 weeks. But that's pretty much it. We got an extra couple of engineers because we're up to HQ level 2 for Suzuki, so that means we'll have more men to throw on. So yeah, let's get on track. So the pace looks quite strong in free practice, topping FP2, and that puts us directly through to Q2 for Sachsenring. Okay, here we are for my qualifying lap. Now we might notice a 19.3 after 7-8 minutes into session isn't the fastest lap in the world. Pecco not doing the best lap there, but he's still top, which gives me confidence that if I don't screw up this lap, as we have a big moment, we're actually a quarter of a second under in sector 1 somehow. But we completely got turn 2 wrong, which meant we are all over the shop for the rest of Omega and up into 4, but we managed to recover into the long left-hander snakes. So I do believe we can beat that time. We're actually at that mistake. We're bang on Pecco's time into the middle sector. Now this sector here, the AI are quicker than me by a lot. You will see it in the race. This is their strongest part of the circuit. I got it pretty well on this lap. You can see here, look, I'm pretty much using all the track. I'm quite happy with that. And I look, half a tenth of loss, so just about losing a bit of time. Down the waterfall into the Saxon curve we come. Beautiful turn 12. Bike wants to just drift out of this corner. He picked it up and squirted to the final corner. Into the last corner, come turn 13. There's someone on the ground there on the exit, out of the last corner, across the line, and it's an 18.8, and that's pole. So yeah, Pecco did improve actually. He went slightly quicker, but still not quick enough. Right, I've gone against everyone else. I've gone medium, which was recommended. You see, everyone has a hard front on except for Valentino. Why does Valentino have a soft on? But anyway, I didn't want to go hard front just because I feel like I probably don't have the pace to win this one outright. I'm going to have to be a bit of a roadblock. So the extra front grip I'm going to need to push the front a bit harder. We're on pole. Last time we were on pole was Catalunya. We ran away and won it, dominated. I don't think it's going to be that easy today. Let's see. Here we are, 5 red lights and we are away. It's been a good initial start. Didn't get much of a wheelie down into turn 1. Just turning the power down now. And we've actually made a balls of turn 1 and we've ran it right out to the outside of the track. But thankfully we managed to hold on to P1. Looks like we got a really good initial launch, which means the AI wasn't close enough to jump us into 1. There has been a crash further back, no one in the top 8. Fortunately for them have crashed. It must be towards the back of the grid. You can see just on the entry to Omega Corner, you can see there's a couple of riders stuck there, so a few of them have crashed, as you do. Anyway, here we are halfway around the first lap. It's going to be a long haul race, 11 laps of this place. We're going to just have to bide our time. Instantly felt the bike felt different in the race than it did all weekend. The bike wasn't as nice on corner entry. I think the fuel load really upset the bike and not too sure why. But Pecco has managed to jump us already. Now we're going to have to do our best to stick with him. This sector here, the last 2 corners are pretty strong. Another crash. You see I have a quick look back. It wasn't anyone in close proximity. Pecco runs it massively wide. And Fabio Quartararo just absolutely clatters into the side of me. He gets a great run on Pecco. I get a run on the 2 of them. I should have the lead back into turn 1. And yes, I do. So we take back what is rightfully ours. Drift slightly wide. I was afraid it might have contact one of them and cause a crash, but we managed to get away back into the lead. Sector 1 by far is my strongest sector on this track against the AI. And we do need to push on in sector 1. I feel pretty good here through turn 4, 5, 6, then you drop down into 7 and 8. Feel pretty good through here. Yeah, I don't have much. It's when you start to go back up the hill, the change direction before the waterfall, I really struggle. But here we are at the corner. It's just in the time I was talking about them. You can see I'm taking inside curb. I'm using all the track, but the AI just are so good. But we get a great run down the waterfall. A bit of slipstream from Fabio. Can we get him into the Saxon curve? No, we can't. He is pretty good on the brakes. We run it wide. You need to watch out for Pecco. He's very close to going upper inside there, but manages to stay ahead. Now you can see the AI take a very, very weird exit line out of the final corner. I tried to take a nice flowing line, get a good run, but they really squared off. Now you can see Fabio so far ahead of him. We put in so much time on the brakes, and we actually managed to turn it tight. They take a very weird opening line and leave such room on the inside for turn 1. You see I have a quick look over my shoulder, not soldier, just to make sure that I wasn't going to crash into him as we tipped in for turn 2. But once again, lap 3, we've lost the lead in the same position lap 1 and lap 2, and we managed to regain it again into turn 1. So it looks like the last sector, or the third sector, were weak and the first sector were very strong. So something to look out for the rest of this race. Flying out through turn 7. This turn 8 here was a nightmare for me during the race. I had no confidence. You can see there touching the curb. For some reason, tipping in with the full tank of fuel just felt bad. You can see run off track there, and that's at Fabio again. True, we're quite close to this time. If we get a good run down the waterfall, which we didn't, we left so much room to the inside curb and have to roll touch not to get a track limits warning. But this time we are pretty perfect through Saxon. We've taken so much corner speed and get a good exit, so we're right on him again. So we're going to try it again into turn 1, I reckon. He runs it wide. We're going to square him off a bit earlier, using a bit of rear brake just to keep the front wheel down. You can see 19.3 compared to 19.0 from Valentine. So we'll go to the inside again, and we are up into P1. We actually run Fabio so wide I couldn't get stopped. I had a quick look to make sure I didn't run him off the track. But yeah, 3 laps, 3 identical moves into turn 1. Touched the curb there though, Megan, and pushed me wide, and I did expect Fabio to maybe show me a wheel, but he just wasn't there, thankfully for me. But it's going to be a difficult race for this one, because I don't know how I'm going to keep them behind, because eventually they will get through at the top of the waterfall and I won't be able to get them back, I reckon. So I do believe that I could drop backwards here. There is a bit of a gap between Bagnaia and Rins according to the timing tower, as again onto the curb. Look at the corner speed he takes, and we've actually touched Bagnaia and we've caused a crash. We ran wide, came back for late apex, he stuck his nose in. Realistically, he should have been a bit more cautious there, because I was always going to come back. It's a double apex corner and there's nowhere to go. I actually get tagged again, this time by Rins, another fellow Suzuki. Now Fabio has 0.6 over me into the final corner. Can I get him into turn 1 this time? Take so much time out of him into turn 13, and we're catching him so much on the straight. Now into turn 1 on the brakes, and once again we brake so much later than him. He picks up, runs for the wide late apex. We take a nice swooping line, and that is P1 again. So as I say that though, he fights back through. We have a look down into Omega on the curb. A track limits warning is just there. Is he going to stay ahead? Yes, he is. So this could be the chance for Fabio. We get a second track limits warning. So we've had 2 limit warnings in the space of 2 corners. So we're going to have to do our best here. You can see I'm pretty much equal to him in these long corners. The Yamaha is pretty similar to my Suzuki. It actually feels a bit nicer going through turn 8 when you have someone as a marker, as a reference in front of me. And this time you can see even into these corners here, I actually seem to kind of take enough corner speed in. They just seem to power away, but then they have a very sacrifice run down the waterfall. You can see I'm taking a 10th out of them there alone. So into Saxon Curve we come again, and we are once again with him in the final sector. It's going to be moving to turn 1, you just know it at this point. He runs it deep, we get a good exit on him. We're almost alongside him as we come out of the corner. We actually do manage to get him on the exit, so it's a matter of now, can we brake deep? He's just to our right, we can't actually see him. I expect him maybe to show wheel. If he does, he doesn't, I don't think. No, we managed to just cut across him. We actually pull half a second over him in one turn, so we are ridiculously good in turn 1. I don't know how the AI are so bad there, but we make up so much time every lap there. And it's now on lap 7. Fabio's back in front. We're going to do the same move again. It's going to be the 6th lap in a row. He turns it tight, and there's actually contact with him. He runs it slightly wide, and he runs into our line. Nothing I can do about it, I'm afraid. That's 2 of my rivals I've come together with in this race, and they both crashed. It is unfortunate, and that he did take out someone else. I didn't see who it was. But that promotes Suzuki up to 2nd with Alex Rins. Jack Miller on the factory Ducati in 3rd. Now here we are in the middle of lap 8. Rins is ahead of me. He is pretty quick. I've actually opened up a bit of a demon leaving this guy through because he's a bit quicker than Fabio was, and he's not as poor everywhere else. So it's going to be quite hard to keep this guy from getting away from us. But again, look, we get it wrong, so wrong into 8. We're lucky there the front forks just save us from tucking the front. You see, we try and go so aggressive into these corners to make up time and pick up the throttle just like them, but we actually can't carry that corner speed. We make a great bit of time up on the waterfall down into the Saxon curve. He takes a much more Suzuki friendly line for him. We get a good exit on him, and we might even have him into the last corner. I have a look, but I brake early just to make sure I have good corner speed to get the exit onto the pitch straight. So now in the slipstream at 19.4, so my pace is pretty consistent. So he 10th off my fastest lap here on lap 8. Started lap 9 now. Again, he runs it deep, we just cut underneath him. It is like clockwork. We do it every lap, and it just seems to work every time. So now it is Jorge Martin who's up into P3, so the rookie. Well, he's not a rookie actually now anymore because this is his 2nd season in GP. But he has managed to pass his factory graduate of Jack Miller now. Rossi's in P6, which is so good to see. He's ahead of him here. But we've just holding off Rins for now. We have 2.5 laps remaining. What can we do in this one? We still have the 2 track teams on, so we're good on that front for once. And through here, we're just wide there, just wide. I'm expecting to see blue Suzuki. Not this time. He's pretty close. We managed to kind of defend from him that time, and this time he pushes me out onto the green on the waterfall, so I kind of took their line. I had terrible corner speed coming down into it like they do, and again he's collided with me, and he's actually come off this time, and that was another mistake. And unfortunately Rossi is down, Marcus is down, Mir is down. Oh, we've caused so many crashes. That promotes Frankie, I suppose. But look of the speed of that Ducati. He just flew past me. I don't even know if we'll get this one back into turn 1. If he picks the bike up just like that, we're going to turn underneath him like we've done to every other person on the grid. But yeah, that Suzuki of Rins, I don't know what he was trying to do because he was being so bloody aggressive when he actually could have waited and got me a few corners later. But he looked like he's throwing away a Suzuki 1-2, so the Suzuki bosses will not be happy with that one. All lies on my shoulders now to get a good result. So we're on for our 2nd win of the season at the moment. It's corners like this now, the long ones, we should really pull away from Jorge Martin, and he shouldn't really be that strong through the fast stuff. So let's see what we can do. We get turned out pretty decent, just a touch wide, but we don't lose any time to Jorge Martin. So it's interesting now. We just about lose half a tenth to him, but we're going to have a good run down the waterfall, so we should pull out again another tenth or so, which is exactly what happened. So we lose it and then pull it back, which is good. So into Saxon Curve for the penultimate time, 2 corners to go, and then we're on the final lap. It's going to be a qualifying lap from here to the end to make sure we get this W. So we might actually leave Germany with the championship lead if we can manage to bring this one to the line. So another 19.3. Pace has been pretty good. So 1 lap to go. It's going to be full send. We're going to send everything at it. We're going to use up any fuel we have. Not that we need it really, because we have 0.6 over Jorge Martin at the moment. It looks like Jorge Martin is settling for P2 because he's dropped to nearly 0.7 behind. We are really pushing this lap. The medium tyres actually didn't feel too bad. The front did start to feel a bit chattery towards the last 3 or 4 laps, but it wasn't as bad as I expected. I did a few laps in practice on them and they wore quite badly, so they look like they've worn better in the race for me, which is ideal. But we come now to turn 8. We've negotiated one of the tougher turns on the track. We do lose a tiny bit of time to Martin that time. But once we make it through this turn 10 here, which we do, we actually get a pretty poor exit though, and we've left Jorge Martin a bit close for comfort. We seem to get a pretty good run down the waterfall, so into the penultimate corner for the final time. Saxon curve, the rear end is starting to let go and rotate. They're still just about there, but we're coming into the final corner. We're going to win our second race if we can come out of this corner. Out of the last corner, up onto the back wheel we go. Victory in Saxon. So look at the results. 4 tenths in the end over Martin and 7 tenths nearly over Miller. Nakagami doing an 18.4 in the last lap. Pretty silly lap times from the AI. No score from Fabio and Francesco, so that means we should, if my maths are correct, lead the championship after I think 9 rounds. So yeah, we are top 16 points ahead of Fabio, 17 of Miller. Bagnaia is way back in P5, 38 points off, so we're leading the championship for the first time this season. Still P4 in the teams, and we are leading the constructors. So P5 and P13 from my Moto3 team, so not a great result from them. But anyway, I'm going to leave it here for today's episode. I hope you have enjoyed. We finally got to showcase our pace and actually get the video out this time after Catalonia's corrupted. But yeah, we're looking quite strong in this year's championship after having a pretty rough start to the season. Everything has slowly turned its way around, so I'm pretty happy with the pace at the moment. So yeah, let's roll on next weekend and get going again. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.